morning. Welcome to this live. Today I'm going to talk about the growth factor that most small businesses miss when they are starting out, and it has huge repercussions on how fast they can grow and how they can get started in establishing their business on a strong footing. And so we're going to talk about that in just a minute. If you are here live, I'd love it if you dropped a hashtag live. If you're watching the replay, drop hashtag replay. It's always fun to see when people are coming in. So my name is Allie Beck. I'm with Allie Beck Design, and I work with solopreneurs and service providers to build effective and strong brands and websites for them. And I am big on strategy. I believe that it's not just enough to build something that's pretty, but you want something that is going to actually be effective in driving the growth of your business. So that's really, really important to me. And then I also have a branding course called the Amplified Brand that helps people as they're starting out build that brand from the beginning. And I'm going to be having a free workshop later this month, April 28th at 11 a.m. Pacific, where we're going to dig into more of the foundations of a strong brand. So if you're here live or even on the replay, let me know, where are you watching from? Tell me what your business is. I'm always curious to see what kinds of businesses that people have started out in. So what is the business growth factor that has huge influence on business growth, but a lot of new businesses skip, or maybe they postpone it? The answer to that question is a strong brand. So the thing is, a strong brand has a huge influence on how your business grows, the trajectory of your growth. And it really can help build a community of people around you. I'm going to dig into that a little bit more. But first I want to talk about what is branding in the first place, because there's a lot of misconceptions about this. A lot of people misunderstand what it is. It's not just your logo. It is not about just colors or about marketing. And the other thing is, it's not just for big businesses. A lot of people think, well, that's something that large businesses get to later on. It's not really applicable to me as a small business. And that is not true. It is for every business, and it will have a big influence on your growth. So branding is really the essence of your business. So these are things like, who are you best suited and most excited to serve? Who's that audience that your business is really meant for? And it's really important to get clear on that. The second is it's about your message. What are you telling people about your business? What are the things that you want them to know? What makes you stand out in the marketplace and makes you different? Because chances are there's going to be a million people who do what you do. So it's really important to get clear on that. And what is it that are your values? What are the things that you are constantly passionate about telling people as you are working in your marketplace? And then the third thing is aesthetics. And aesthetics are important. When I say aesthetics, I mean the design of your business, like the logo and the colors. And those things are really important, because when people come to your website or when they look at your social media, you really have just a few seconds to make a first impression, and you want to be shaping their perceptions from the beginning. But again, those aesthetic decisions should be made after you were really clear on your target market and what your message are, because those things are going to influence what aesthetic choices you make about your brand. So that's a basic overview about what branding is. And I think a lot of people think, well, when I first start out, I just need to get momentum. I just need to start selling. And then once I get money coming in, then maybe I can spend some time on making decisions about my brand. But the thing is, if you do it that way, you're going to spend a lot of time kind of spinning your wheels. Maybe you're building an audience that isn't really the right audience for you. You're not going to have a clear picture about your trajectory of your business. And I know that there's limited time when you're starting out, especially when you're trying to do everything. But it's almost like saying, I know I say I am going to an address, and I'm like, well, I don't have the time to put the address in my GPS. So I'm just going to drive and get there, hopefully. And so, but the thing is, then you're going to spend all this time driving around the neighborhood looking for the place that you're actually going, right? So if you can stop now and do a little bit of work on the front end, that's just going to help you get to where you're going faster. So put that GPS address in at the beginning and help you chart that course. So I have a story about two businesses. So raise your hand if you've heard about Slack. it might know it as a messaging service. It's mostly for businesses, so people can have conversations about particular projects or topics. What about Hall? So Hall is also an enterprising messaging app, and they were actually out before Slack. They had great funding, they had a good product, they had a lot of great features about this app, but they really balked when it came to branding and marketing. They decided they wanted to really refine their product first. They wanted to really get things, established there, make it perfect, and then get out there and do the branding. Meanwhile, Slack came out of the door and they weren't necessarily perfect with all their features. It was still a solid app, but they really focused on branding. They really got the word out about their business and their messaging clear. And now we know the end of the story, right? Like, no one knows who Hall is, and a lot of people know who Slack is. It's a brand that a lot of businesses know and recognize and are loyal to. So again, that's an example of the power that branding can have from the beginning. There's a few things that branding does in general for any business. And so first off, it builds trust. There's a rule of 7. So if you are a consumer, it will take you at least 7 encounters with the business before you buy. It's just kind of an average, right? And it varies depending on the industry, but that's kind of generally what we see statistically. So if you show up as a business and you are different, all those 7 times you speak differently about your business, you look different, that's not going to do a lot to build that trust. And then in fact, they may not even recognize that it's you all of those 7 times because we're bombarded with so much marketing. So it's important that you really work to build that trust through a cohesive brand. The next thing is that it creates recognition. So you want people to recognize you from afar, and that's what a brand does. It's like every time you see a certain business scroll through your feed, you start recognizing them if they have that strong brand that really stands out. And then it creates loyalty. And this is something that Mac has done really well. They have created a cult following around their brand to the point where people will stand in line for hours and wait for the product so that they can buy it, right? And people are just really passionate about that loyalty to Mac. So that's something we want to start doing now with our businesses, is that building that community of people that know us and talk about us and they're excited for us and root us on. And so that brand will help do that. And it also increases your perceived value, so you can command higher prices because people just naturally associate brands that have a solid, thoughtful design around them. They associate that with higher prices. So if you are a new business, there are some things that you're going to get some benefits from doing it right out of the gate. Now, like I said, a lot of people wait. They think like, I just got to get it figured out. I just got to get some sales in. Here's why I think you should do it from the beginning. Number 1, you will build the right audience from the start. So if you start out and you're just kind of marketing to everybody, you don't have a clear brand, you don't have a clear message, you might get down the road and realize like, hey, I have a big audience, but none of those people are really the ones that are really a good fit for me and what I do, for my experiences. I'm not really excited about serving a particular audience. You want to make sure that you have that audience from the get-go, that you're clear on who that target market is. And then the second is you're going to have an easier time explaining what you do if you've got your messaging dialed, if you know exactly what it is that you need to say to people, if you can describe what your business does and the reasons why you exist, if you can really get down about what their pain points are and how you solve them, if you've got all of that figured out, then you won't have to spend a lot of time like muddling through it as you're talking about it. You won't have to recreate your copy all the time. Then you can raise your prices faster. Even if you feel like maybe you have a little bit of imposter syndrome and like you should just be charging, base prices as you're starting out. I do think it's great to start out maybe with lower prices at the beginning, but you'll be able to raise those faster if you've got an effective brand that has that credibility around it. And then the last thing is that you'll build a following of people that relate to you. They know who you are, they understand you, they feel like you are talking to them with your messaging. And actually I have a bonus one too. You're gonna have to make fewer decisions. I don't know about you, but as a business owner, I get decision fatigue. There's so many decisions that I have to make every single day around my business. And so if you can eliminate some of that by having those key brand decisions made from the get-go, you're not going to have to recreate the wheel every time. It can be something as simple as creating a social media graphic. If you know your messaging, what your captions are going to say, if you know your colors and your fonts, if you have your logo done, you can create that social media graphic so much faster. So a lot of business owners I know are overwhelmed out of the gate. Like everyone's going to tell you all the things you need to do at the beginning, right? Maybe you're like trying to figure out your accounting, you're trying to get your LLC, you're trying to trademark, you're trying to get your social media rolling and your followers and all of that. And so I understand why people want to skip the branding process, because it doesn't seem like it's something that's so crucial at the beginning. But really it's like building a foundation. Like if you were going to go out and build a house, you're not going to start with the house and insert the foundation later, right? You're going to start with that foundation of your home first and then build the house on top of it. And I know there's some pressure here, but I wanted to assure you it doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to get out there and build this perfect, beautiful brand from the get-go. This is something that's going to evolve over time. You're going to add things in. You're going to even get clearer about who your target market is, and you're going to get honed in on your message as you evolve over time. That's okay. But what you want to avoid is these wild swings of just not being clear at all. So we'll get there. If we want to dive into this more, I have that workshop coming up. It's called the Brand Podium Workshop. It's at April 28th at 11 a.m. Pacific or 2 p.m. Eastern. So come register. You can dive in for free. And then I'm going to get into some of the nuts and bolts about building this foundation, things like how to choose your target market, how to define your message, how to then use those two things to make aesthetic decisions about your brand. How do those even relate? What's right for you? So we're going to dig into that during that workshop. Again, it's at April 28th, 11 a.m. Pacific. I will put the register link in the chat, in the comment section below, so you can go ahead, click that link and register today. And I would love to have you. If you have any questions about anything that I talked about today, go ahead and drop those in the comment section below. And I'm going to be happy to come back and answer them. And so I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you soon.